Previously on a Ducking Wrestling podcast.
Raven rules. Well, I mean, it's.
I don't think that was his saying, but all right.
No? Have a good night. He's from he's the Pride Ninja.
It's a nice day. It's a nice day.
Wait,
I fucked it up.
Which, by the way,
In the 90s, that was a Nitro girl.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the April edition of a Ducking Wrestling podcast. Here always, the big dog daddy, sitting in, running the show. This month, it is the A-Team coming back at it. JR and King. Me, big dog daddy, sitting here with that chocolate thunder. My brother from the other racial mother, Lathan, sitting over here. Bubba, what's going on, man?
Not much. Just another wonderful yeet-tastic day in paradise on the cusp of WrestleMania 41, a week away. Just enjoying another wonderful Saturday. But I have to ask before we get into this, out of this whole, two-man podcast we're doing, who exactly is JR and who exactly is going to be King? Because they're both kind of weird and we just need to figure it out before we get into it.
I would think that I'm JR because I've only been married one time.
Fair enough. All right, cool.
Off the cuff. There we go.
I fit the qualifiers to be more of the king in this one. I got it.
Puppies. Well, welcome everybody to the April episode. We are gonna be doing something that it's a match that I have not watched in years. We're watching Shawn Michaels versus Ric Flair. So we're recording this the weekend before WrestleMania. So we're on the cusp of a record-breaking John Cena winning the championship. Will he do it? Will he not do it? We don't know. By the time y'all are hearing this, y'all already know.
Patton's in the ring! John Cena has set the...
But that's what we're going to be watching. So we are going to get into it. If y'all are watching along, we're at the 1 hour, 18 minute, 22 second mark. We are ready to go. Lathan, you ready? Oh, before we do, the jersey of the month, because hockey season is officially over, essentially for me. Anaheim Ducks anniversary jersey from last year. Rolling with the Ducks. Everybody's like, but you're from Texas. Why are you an Anaheim Ducks fan? Because of the fucking movies. We're going to leave it at that. That is why I have been a Ducks fan since I was a kid.
Quack, quack.
That's right, baby. Quack, quack, quack. So we are going to go ahead and get into it and just get rolling with it. So everybody, synchronize your timers. We are coming up on 3, 2, 1, and play. We got an aerial shot of the arena. There we go. Ric Flair, Shawn Michaels, career-threatening match. I remember watching this and just thinking to myself, like, what did Ric Flair have to win in this match? But honestly, I didn't think Ric Flair was ready to be done with.
Oh, no. I don't know if you ever heard this backstory, but Ric Flair's talked about a few times in interviews afterwards. This is more of, like, he didn't necessarily want to do this, as opposed to the old idiom of Vince thinking somebody's aged out of their performance capabilities. And so, in respect to Rick, Vince wanted to kind of give him a swan song goodbye, and when he still was like still functional and fully capable of still putting on matches and be able to live a later part of his life. And so, this was just the way that Vince wanted it done. And, when Vince has his mindset on something, for the most part, to his credit, he'll go out on a limb and make it so grandiose and so legendary because of the respect he has for Ric Flair's historical impact. But at the same time, like, there's not really a place for you anymore on the roster, and this is the best way I can respect your career and tell you at the same time, you're fired.
Well, I mean, I get that, but and I even more so get the idea behind it. Like, you've got a lot of people on the roster who really should have that spot, and not only that, but if you're Ric Flair, are you really wanting to be, and I'm maybe dating myself with this, I'm not 100% sure, but are you really wanting to put yourself on a Sunday night heat before the pay-per-view moment, or are you looking to go out on top in a top-rated match? That's kind of
Right.
my feeling on it. I mean, I get it, but I think at this point, I mean, honestly, I think if anybody were to really think about it, Ric Flair should have been done at this point. Now, we all know he goes on to TNA to have matches, and I mean, he just had his final match, 3 years ago?
Yeah. Yeah. And in respects to Vince, he was kind of right about this. Like, for what it's worth, like, kind of, he's been wrong in the past. Like, when it comes to like the viability of talent and performers in the ring, as far as when it comes to sports entertainment, like, as much as he gets it wrong, but the older ones he's typically gotten there righter with in their later years. Like,
Yeah.
this is like Rick is a perfect example. As much as he didn't want to, because there's an ego thing that always drives it too, right? But at the same time, like, we're using you, but like, in what context can we still use you? Like, because you still want to be the main eventer, you want to still be somewhere in a role that isn't deemed for you to be positioned there anymore. Like Ric Flair is gone. The legacy of Ric Flair is kind of at this point not dwindling as much as it is now in retrospect, or in hindsight looking back. But this is like kind of like a good time to leave the legacy of what Ric Flair has been to wrestling historically, and just call it now and let him ride off into the sunset in a very respectful way with one of the best competitors in the industry, especially when it comes to putting on a WrestleMania match. Like, there's a reason why Shawn Michaels is called Mr. WrestleMania.
Oh, yeah.
And he absolutely shows up and shows out every time he's put between those four ropes, or those four sides of the ring. It is just remarkable. So it gave him a good way to go out. And to be 100% clear and transparent, this is actually my first time watching this match.
I really think it's mine too, watching it from beginning to end.
Yeah, like, I've always watched highlights of it because this is the era right before the network where you're still charging you like $60 for WrestleMania, and I'm like, I ain't got no money for that.
I ain't got
I'm
WrestleMania
adult
money.
broke now. Yeah.
Let's see, this was WrestleMania 24. We're a week away from WrestleMania 41, so we're talking about 17 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't have WrestleMania money at that point. But yeah, no, you're 100% right. I think here we go, we got the entrances coming down. And I think, real quick, 100% right. I think this was the best way WWE could have sent Ric Flair off, and it should have been the end for Ric Flair. But we've got the entrance right now of Shawn Michaels coming in. And again, I have not hid the fact that Shawn Michaels is probably one of my top favorites of all time. Him, Undertaker are probably 1 and 2 on there. But you know, I'm looking forward to this. When we were talking about this, the three of us have a text message group that we do. Um, I put up 3 different matches, and all 3 of them were gonna be bangers. But Lathan picked this one, and I'm glad you did. Like, I'm really glad that this was the choice, because I love watching a Shawn Michaels match. I love Ric Flair at this time. He was just Ric Flair. I don't know what it was. At this point, he was still kind of timeless, along with Shawn Michaels. I mean, this was way after when Shawn Michaels should have been out of his prime. Shawn Michaels, I think, is an anomaly when it comes to pro wrestling. Shawn Michaels was in his prime, then got hurt, then came back years later and was back in his prime. Like, he didn't miss a step.
Yeah, definitely. When it came to Shawn Michaels and his resurgence, like, it was interesting in itself. And then just thinking about, as he's walking to the ring right now, I'm like thinking, like, when it comes to for what it's worth, when it comes to Shawn Michaels and his whole career in ring, both the first time and the second time, like, there's never not been a time where he almost didn't disappoint. We keep you easily entertained and keeping you on your seat to see what's going to happen. And then especially the second wave of his career, like, 2 of his biggest matches are retirement matches in a sense, or where there's like some kind of threat of retirement on the line with his 2 WrestleMania series with Undertaker. Even him as a special guest referee in the Triple H Hell in a Cell match, the end of an era, like, it was just crazy how he could still find his way into being anchored highlights of WrestleMania matches without actually being the main event. It's something to his credit that was comfortable being in the mid card, but still knowing that regardless of where he was on the show, he's still gonna put on a show.
Yeah.
And he's gonna be a part of the memorable part of the show.
Yeah. His last match against Undertaker, and I know what everybody's saying, well, his last match it was with the DX tag team in Saudi. No, we don't
talk about that. That's not canon. That's not canon.
It's like Bruno. We don't talk about Bruno. We don't talk about that match. Yeah, even his retirement match, he went so hard into it that it was incredible. And here we got Ric Flair coming out with that. This is probably one of my favorite Ric Flair robes. And I have a piece of a Ric Flair robe back over here on my stand next to my Shawn Michaels autograph, my Rey Mysterio autograph, and my Hulk Hogan autograph. Go check out the beer review if you're so inclined on YouTube and Rumble.
Oh man,
the fireworks! That's just like that picture of Ric Flair up with the fireworks is just so good.
Man, he's never seen a bad entrance.
No.
When it comes to Ric Flair on a pay-per-view, he don't have bad entrances. I wonder how much in totality that robe costs.
Oh man,
because
look it up. Yeah,
because one of his things I always know, like, one of his things is that all of his robes were paid outright.
Yeah,
but they're all expensive, and I'm like, no wonder this dude has so much bad financial history. Like, I get living the gimmick, but man.
Oh, look, there's Charlotte. And there's David Flair.
A young Charlotte.
Reed Flair, R.I.P.
Yeah, David's still looking somewhat athletic, like he was just came from WCW before he filled out.
Did
My
he
grandpa
have
would
like
say.
rosacea or something? Because he just always was like red faced. It didn't matter what was happening. His
Probably.
face looked
I
red.
wouldn't put it past him. That Carolina sun out there is hits a little bit differently to
Oh, that's true.
all of skin people. So
There you go. Ric Flair with his little man titties.
yeah,
Sorry.
this is
I couldn't. You can't not address that. Like,
multi-divorce Charlotte Flair.
he flexes his pecs, which is great, and the pecs come up here. The titties stayed like
Yeah,
that.
just hanging skin, dude. So I completely forgot about this, but I forgot when a younger Ric Flair was just a thick built boy. He was a husky son of a
Oh
gun.
yeah. That was a rambling Rick Rhodes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and then
that was before the helicopter crash.
And then he had the crash, and then lost all the weight. So
here we go. We got Charles Robinson. We got Lil Nate in the match as the official. Oh, shoulder block coming. I really thought like I felt like, and I seem to remember this. I don't think I've watched it all the way through, but watched clips. Like, and I remember thinking like, oh shit, Lil Nature's in the ring. There's gonna be some shit.
yeah, I mean, and so when I knew that, so I remember not watching it, but I remember seeing like the highlight clip of it on the Raw after, and I saw that he was in the corner. I was like, oh, this is a foregone conclusion. Like I'm like, okay, they've got all the pieces set in place for this to be what it's supposed to be.
See, look at that Ric Flair flipping around, man. Like,
yeah,
I don't know. Do you know what age he was at this point? He's got to be
60s.
So you think early 60s? See, and I love the psychology in the match because, like, honestly, that look that Shawn gives is like, oh shit, you can still kind of go.
Yeah, I was watching he was 60.
Wow.
Yeah, so I was watching a build-up compilation of the weeks leading up to this because it wasn't that long of a build. Like just looking at it on the surface level, I think it was about 4 to 5 weeks, where it was just right after Elimination Chamber, and then it started right after the Monday Raw after the Elimination Chamber when Shawn Michaels announced that Ric Flair was going to be inducted to the Hall of Fame. And it just kind of snowballed from there on how they built this match. But man, like going back and watching all the progression, and like, you know, Sean's like, I don't want to do this. Like, I love you too much personally to actually want to be the person to take you out. And Ric Flair's like, wait the fuck a minute. Who said you're going to take me out in the first place?
Yeah. Yeah. That I do remember.
He was that dude.
Yeah. That I do remember. I remember doing that where Sean's like, well, I don't want to be the one to retire you. Hold the fuck
up. You want to be whose ass? No. But then, like, it was the way that the interesting part of the way they built it to Art, going back and watching it is that, like, you know, there's that camaraderie and the respectability between the two of them because of their personal impacts on the business and how, you know, without Ric Flair, insert whatever your favorite wrestler from this era is, there's no him. Right? There's no HBK, there's no Shawn Michaels, there's no
Flair. Don't grab his hair. It's already going to be tender. Damn.
Listen, it's going to come out anyways. It's already coming out. Worst camera angle ever. Maybe watching Ric Flair's hair at the end of his actual last match is like karma coming back on him for yanking out HBK's hair.
There you go. Yeah, I you know, and there's a famous picture. Oh, Ric Flair going for the figure 4 and pushed off. There we go. There's a famous picture that Shawn Michaels has as before he got into wrestling, where he's like holding a championship belt or something, and he did it to look like Flair. Oh, this is fucked up right here. Look at that. Boom! Right in the fucking ribs.
See?
That, like, there's
Oh,
no
you know it hurt.
you can sit there as a not wrestling fan and say, "Oh, this shit's rigged, it's fake, it's ribbed." But doing
ain't nothing
this, where
fake about that.
no way to fake that. Like that is dead shot, middle of the ribs.
Ric Flair's like, I'm not taking that bump.
Look at this.
Fuck all that. Oh man.
Broken ribs were the worst thing I've ever experienced. Like tearing my ACL, concussions, nothing compared to when I broke my ribs. That was the worst thing I've ever done.
I would say to say I've never broken ribs, but I have had them bruised pretty bad with 365 falling on my chest. It's not the funnest thing in the world trying to catch your breath.
Yeah.
While also having your rib cage like scream at you like this. Everything about this hurts right now.
No, sleeping, laying in bed, laying on one
there's
side,
no comfortable space at all.
Trying to roll over to the other side and just it hurts so bad. Like, I mean, there was like no sleep for weeks. Good little back body drop by Ric Flair there. And see, look, there's the stuff with Ric Flair, like his, and I keep pointing down because I'm watching it here on my phone. The stuff with Ric Flair being so methodical with his stuff. So in that last pinfall, if you watch, not only does he pin him, pull his leg up, but Ric Flair takes his leg and throws it over the other leg.
So it makes it harder for me to kick. It's the little things that make up the bigger.
It's the things that nobody notices unless you're a wrestling fan.
Yeah, and watching some like going back and watching matches like this, it kind of illustrates what's missing a lot of times today in a lot of these matches. I had this discussion all about a few months ago. We were just talking about it, and it's just finisher after finisher, and it's like it's supposed to be a finisher. Why are we kicking out of it? Like this is supposed to conclude the match. Why are there 3 different times you put the same move on, and it's not a foregone conclusion that this is over with? He kicks up, and all of a sudden he's got this new wave of energy, and there's no selling, and there's no story really being told. It's just like, when can we get to the next spot and to the next spot? And none of them actually have a purpose in the match outside of making the crowd halfway go like, oh, that oh shit moment, right? And that's as far as it gets.
Yeah, we were just talking about that. We were talking about that in our group text about finishers and how they've become so kind of passe right now. I mean, you hit a finisher, the guy kicks out, and then he's all of a sudden hulking up, for a lack of better term. I mean, like the idea behind kicking out of a finisher is that's your last ditch moment, right?
Yeah, I have no more energy. I have no more space. Like, I gave it my all, and I had to reach down deep and get this extra out.
Right, and it shouldn't go on for another fucking 10 minutes, the match. It should be like another finisher and you're done with. Here we got Shawn Michaels. Hard bump to the outside by Ric Flair. Got Shawn Michaels up here with a moonsault and completely missed. Flair threw his arm up like, yeah.
I was like, oh.
This is the thing that gets me about Shawn Michaels. Like, this dude, despite all of his faults, like, this man, I really think just loves pro wrestling to the point that he is willing to do stuff like this. I mean, Shawn's got to be in his mid-40s at this time. And the fact that he's willing to throw it all out there for Ric Flair says something, is a testament to him. You can argue about him during his drug use and his, issues with the company and his, I lost my smile shit. But the man himself, I really think that he is a true student of the game, period. Not Triple H, a student of the pro wrestling game.
Yeah, no, I mean, hands down, they're both clearly products of watching like a Ric Flair growing up, and you could tell in the way that they even bump in their other matches typically, and how they kind of carry themselves when it comes to the art of wrestling inside the ring. Everything has intent. Everything has a purpose. Everything tells a story. Everything keeps everything progressively moving from bell to bell. The way that you're supposed to be entertained by the match. Especially when this type of heaviness weighed onto the match, because it is what it's going to be. Like, it's a dude's career, his livelihood, and on top of that, just inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame.
Oh, Shawn Michaels drops the elbow.
Oh, there it is.
That's one of my favorite moves of his, like dropping the elbow, and he always said he kind of modeled it after the Macho Man, but his style is just so different.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No. I mean, it's true, but it's true. Like, they are good elbows, but they are significantly different. Like, the punctuation on them is a lot different. Eventually, Shawn's though just kind of got lazy. Like, he just kind of jumped up, and his knees wouldn't allow him to do the flying that he needed to do for the Macho Man.
Look, we got to address that moment right there. Shawn, in the figure four, Shawn goes
He
for
hesitated.
the kick.
He hesitated,
and he stopped himself, and now he's locked into the figure four. The figure four, have you ever, like, as a kid, when you would wrestle with your friends or siblings or whatever,
Let me stop you right there. That bitch fucking hurts.
Yo, fuck yeah, it hurts.
I've had it put on me 4 times in my life, and that was 4 times too many.
Oh, dude, I don't even know if my knees would work that way right now.
No.
Because
it's funny.
Oh, and the reverse. And actually, have you ever done the reverse on somebody? That shit hurts too.
I'm like, why am I in this? Like, I remember a friend, like, I finally muscled him over and did the reverse. I'm like, this sucks just as much. I'm like, I'm getting the hell out of here. I was like, okay, I can see why somebody would tap out to that. Oh, man. But there's going to be a part in this match
right
that's going to come up here in a minute.
Look at this exchange. Up, Shawn can't quite get up.
Can't quite get up.
That was a good little exchange, and I think it was meant to go longer. It looks like Shawn should have pulled up, but he just couldn't.
Oh, it was both of them.
There's some good little.
I'm kind of tired at this point. Like, that particular move in that part of that chain where they were supposed to both come up. Like, if one, Shawn probably could have done it, but like, Rick is so anchored down on top of his torso that, like, it was just him being tired. And it's like, see, and this is like, I get it. I'm like, okay, Ric Flair at this point maybe has maybe a good, like, if he kept on wrestling 6-7 months in reserve before it kind of went off the rails. Especially with the schedule they had back then too. Like, eventually, like, a lot of, like, it's going to be a lot of burnout. And I think to Vince's credit, while watching this, is that he was starting to think of or consider the health of some of his wrestlers. Because you're talking about this is 2008, so we're talking about post Eddie,
small boy,
post redacted wrestler eras. Yeah. And so, but after all of that, like trying to give them the send off that they need before they end up having another tragedy on their hands.
Hey, can I just point out real quick? So last month, me and Jerry were talking about how the fans had turned on Goldberg during his match with Kevin Nash. So if you look at the crowd. I mean, the crowd is there for Flair.
Of course.
Like the crowd is wanting him. This wasn't a moment where like the crowd, the people are getting tired of seeing Ric Flair. Like, oh, this guy again. Like, no, here in WWE, like they were. Oh, that was a nice little roll through.
Oh, roll back over.
That was nice.
Oh, it was like pulling a double Uno reverse card out.
That was gotcha, bitch.
Yeah. Oh, man.
But like a lot of times with pro wrestling, you have guys who hang on so long that the crowd gets just kind of done with
it's burnout,
right? They just get done as WCW fans did with Goldberg back in late '98. But the crowd here, like Flair threw on the four keep on the four-leaf clover, the figure four, and the crowd.
Oh, he hit him.
The crowd was there. I mean, they were like, yeah, like wanting him to take it. Oh, here we go. Got the pin. We know it. 1, 2, and the kick out by the dirtiest player in the game.
But two,
I will say this. I'm surprised they haven't shown more of Flair's family. Oh, yeah, sweet chin music. The WWE has a tendency, though, to show like the family way more than they really should.
Yeah.
And again, this is like 17 years ago, so we're in a
different... Yeah, but they knew going into this too, they need to this is a highly need to focus on the match and not any other side, the family or any of the other parts of the match. Like this is like everything needs to be focused on this because we already know how good this is going to be. Like we don't need to add the family dynamic to it at ringside, Plus, I'm sure, knowing what we know about the match afterwards, anyways, I'm sure they'll be somewhere in the ring afterwards.
Yeah. Well, no, that came on Monday. Which that's a whole nother story we could get into. That Monday night tribute to Ric Flair was amazing.
Dude, the whole weekend tribute.
Here we go. Look, dirtiest player in the game, baby.
And yeet.
He's gonna kick him in that heartbreak dick.
Yeah. Right in the Heartbreak Hotel.
To quote George, break his dick off. 1, 2, and the kick out by Shawn. Oh, dude, this is a good match. Holy shit.
It is. Yeah. Hands down, my favorite match of WrestleMania 24.
I don't remember a lot of the matches from WrestleMania 24.
I never watched WrestleMania 24. I watched highlights of WrestleMania 24.
Oh, Shawn! Oh, I thought he was going for the shark. Oh, that's his version of the figure four.
Which is functionally stupid, but whatever. I get why he did it. Like, so I noticed this in the playback of like the build to this, where like they had a few matches together. Like, of course, you got the whole trope of, we're going to do a tag team match and stuff. Yeah. But like whenever he puts on the figure four leg lock, it's always this weird bootleg version of it, and I'm like, I almost forget about that. Like Shawn
Dirtiest
Michaels
player in the
working with
game
two
again, baby.
prostitutes.
Sorry, dude. Look, I'm really enjoying this match. Like, this is really good. Like, I kept wondering, like, well, when is he going to be the dirtiest player in the game?
Oh, listen, he always finds a way. Don't worry about it. It's coming.
Like, this is one of the few
Oldest
times where
ride, longest line. Space
both
Mountain,
guys,
baby.
both guys are coming in as like essentially baby faces, where it's just, hey, we're putting these two guys against each other, and they're going to tell a story.
Yeah,
And,
that was also part of my notes. I had wrote is that like this is one of those really good WrestleMania matches that didn't need a baby face or a heel. We're just watching entertainment
right.
unfold between two guys. Oh, there goes another sidekick. I can't even call it sweet chin music no more. And man,
Lathan,
I was like,
did you see what I'm drinking?
oh, nice, brother.
Dude, they're good.
I'll take your word on it.
I'll have one ready for you next weekend.
I'll let you drink it for me. I'll drink it. I'll drink some Austin Broken Skull Lager. Thank you. Real American beer.
Oh, here it is.
That's the bottom line.
Here it is. Here's that moment. Iconic.
Oh, dude.
Oh,
And then it's
asking
like
for it.
Ric Flair just asked to because
I'm sorry. I love you.
Cry at the drop of a hat.
Yep. He knew it. Like, people are sitting there going, no.
Because it could have won.
Michaels has more
Like
of a bold
realistically,
spot than Ric Flair does.
realistically, the way they built this up is it could have went either way. Like this could have genuinely been like okay, we let Ric Flair have this one last right off into the sunset at WrestleMania with him having a victory, and then we can build a retirement for later on. But like,
Yeah,
this is kind of one of those. While I figured the way that they kind of gave him his roses the week prior to it with all the highlights and stuff, that like, yes, this is his swan song. How are we going to get to him getting retired? Like, Shawn's going to win. That's how I always predicted it going into it. It was just enjoying the ride on how they got from bell to bell, right?
yeah. Well, everybody watching and listening, so match is over. Shawn Michaels has won. We're going to follow it until they start leading up to the next match, because we're going to comment on Ric Flair in the ring and the family and everything, and then we'll go from there. But man,
Interesting part too, Art. That whole "I'm sorry, I love you" part, all made like Shawn just thought of it right there on the fly. So to give more credit to like his concept of how powerful a moment can be with just the small things.
yeah.
And of course, it's been always one of the most replayed parts of WrestleMania when you talk about Ric Flair in this match.
A little early
Oh,
shot.
look at young Charlotte before she was a heartbreaker, sliding into random DMs.
Dude, Reed, man, that kid, rest in peace, man. Ric Flair, I will say Ric Flair has always been one of the most emotionally connected men to pro wrestling. Like, he could cry in a heartbeat. And there he goes. He's hugging. There's David Flair hugging. I think his wife. Reed,
Oh, dude. Okay, I have to take a minute.
There's
I have to take
Ashley, aka Charlotte, the older.
and that's wife number 3 or 4.
Yeah. Oh, that's Charlotte's
Mom.
Charlotte and Reed's and David's mom, right? They don't have the same mom.
No, David came first, and Charlotte and Reed came at a different marriage, I think.
Okay. Man.
But he's always been present in their lives. That's the beautiful part about it. Like,
yeah,
for being as crazy of a lifestyle as he had, he was like, his kids always said that he tries to make time to be at some of the bigger events, especially like with Reed and his wrestling, to be
Oh
at
yeah,
those. Yeah, so he even got fired for it over at WCW for a
famous
little bit.
story. Yeah,
Yeah,
about him in WCW. Yep. So there we
yeah.
have it. We have
Taking his
the
last walk.
last match. I won't say retirement, but that was his last match in WWE. He went on to TNA, which I have never seen a match of his from TNA. I
I
did
mean, at the
watch.
time,
I did
like,
watch his final match that he teamed with his at the time son-in-law, now former son-in-law Andrade. I did watch that match, but there we go. We are done with the match as the camera follows Ric Flair up to the entrance. And it's weird to think, yeah, we know it's not his last match in WWE, or it's not his last match. It was his last match in WWE 17 years ago.
man, to be on that emotional roller coaster as the performer at the time has to be something crazy.
Yeah.
Like it's a thing. It's a good thing. It was a fun thing to watch. It was entertaining, and it ended the way it should have ended.
Yeah. Well, let's hold on. Let's do this. We're going to take our one commercial break. I don't know why we're going to advertise for George because he's sick, but we are going to do that real quick and we'll be right back with y'all with our comments and rating.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Welcome to Too Hard, Too Fast.
Too hard, too fast.
Too hard, too fast.
Too hard, too fast.
Welcome to Too Hard, Too Fast.
Welcome back. Too hard, too fast. Where we go off the rails and George has to worry about it. So here we go.
Find Too Hard, Too Fast podcast on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube.
And we're back. Fuck you, George. So we are coming in with let's talk about it, man. Lathan, my brother, tell me what you thought, man.
I mean, it was for a WrestleMania match, and the storyline build to it gave it a lot more gave it a lot more weight, and gave it more prominence on the totality of the weekend for Ric Flair. And of course, bell to bell was quite entertaining. They did what they're supposed to do, and did what they're known for doing, hands down. So with all that being said, keeping it short and sweet, like HBK was HBK, Ric Flair was Ric Flair, and they had a flair for stealing the show, because this is the only thing I truly remember from this WrestleMania, barring the Floyd Mayweather build up to this, which was equally as annoying as this was entertaining. So
Forgot about that match.
mostly everybody should have forgot about that match. So I mean, this was definitely a 5-star match. We'll watch it again and again, I'm sure, multiple times in my life. But for the first time watching it all the way through and not the highlighted part, definitely worth its weight and historically.
Nice. Okay, man. So you're giving it a full-on 5-star, like, best match you've ever seen?
Oh yeah, no, definitely. For what it's Ric Flair, and it's Ric Flair's last match. As I will say, this is Ric Flair's last match as the Ric Flair that we historically know. The TNA's, the final match he had with Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett, I don't know what that was, and I don't want to recognize that, because that was a man holding on to something that was far gone. And I don't want my legends to die out like that. So it's sort of like watching Jordan. It's sort of like watching if Michael Jordan came back again to play basketball just to say he could do it one more time. I'm like, in this point, is this day and age, like he's aged out. Like we don't need to see that. Like let's just be legendary. Like Wayne Gretzky's not gonna go put on a pair of fucking skates right now to go out battle out with Ovechkin for his scoring title.
I'm so
Which
proud
shout out
that
to
you know
Ovechkin.
hockey.
Yeah.
George would have been super proud at that.
Oh man, like listen, it's but it's like just one of those things that like I can't for it being reality, I can't acknowledge that reality. This is a Ric Flair that I grew up with, that I loved, that kind of kept me into wrestling at a time where I was getting out of wrestling. And to for me also, like the other part of it for my relevance to Ric Flair is that he is a tale as old as time in this regard, that like as we're kids, our fathers and our grandfathers can actually speak to being in presence of Ric Flair as he was a wrestler in their decades too. You're talking about 50 at this point, 40 years when it wasn't a thing to do of still being a wrestler and still being a top performing wrestler at that point. Like nobody was doing that. This is Ric Flair. He is the dude doing that. Like when you put up together Mount Rushmore of wrestlers, Ric Flair is always in everybody's top tier, hands down, for his impact across the board for so long. And so yeah, so like it was a good match to see him kind of end it on, in a way. So that's what kind of gave me. It was more of an entertaining match for me, and as the fan that grew up and watched them. So yeah,
Yeah. That's fair, man. And you mentioned Jay Lethal. You kind of look like Jay Lethal right now in the Black Machismo moment.
I was about to say, I was like, yeah, like no. I'm giving
Yeah.
machismo vibes. Ooh,
Yeah, man. I really agree. So the match told a great story, and that's what a lot of times I look for. Is y'all who are listening and watching, y'all know I enjoy the match as far as the competitiveness, the athleticism, the big men bumping meat. I enjoy all of it, man. And I want a story. I want a story. I don't want a damn Big Show versus the sumo wrestler at WrestleMania just for the sake that they're both big. I don't want that. I want a story. I want somebody to tell me something. Make me feel for the match. I really felt this match. I mean, as a Shawn Michaels fan, and really in turn as a Ric Flair fan, as I was when he came back to WWE, I really enjoyed the match. So I, what you were just saying about Ric Flair, about being, letting go and stuff. There's a country lyric that it brought to mind with Ric Flair and in what he did after this match. It is a man holding on to a woman letting go. Pro wrestling has been trying to let go of Ric Flair for a long time, but that man is just holding on. And I get it. I get it. You have a pure love that you don't want to let go, but that love, man, it's letting you go. So in that vein, I gave this match a 4.93 because this to me is one of the best matches we've ever watched. Is it perfect? No, it's not perfect by any means, but man, it's so good. It was so good. I really enjoyed it. So, Lathan, give me your final thought before we let it go.
Oh man, for what it is, you can ask for a better send off. Huge shout out to the production team for WWE, because when they are called to the challenge of putting together like promo packages and to putting together like vignettes, like they make you remember and they remind you of like what historically all has gone down. Not only in this decade, last decade, the decade before that, and truly remind you like, hey, this dude was the dude. So I really enjoyed it for that too. I mean, everything about the build up, the hype behind it, and like who they chose as Ric Flair's last opponent, or what Ric Flair got to choose as his last opponent, was all perfect.
Yeah.
Needless to say, like the only way that this could have been a better match is if Triple H was the one to be on the other side of the ring from Ric Flair. But it honestly, as cool as that sounds, and on paper and in application, it's just with Shawn Michaels having a different type of like gusto and swag about WrestleMania that just really took it over the top and put the exclamation point on it. So yeah, but man, this is as far as our recording so far and our watch alongs, this has probably been the more enjoyable one that I really look forward to, since I had never actually watched the full match all the way through. But there was actually some really cool facts like that I noticed about it when they were actually putting the whole event together. Which I noticed that King and JR referenced it a few times, where Ric Flair was the first active wrestler to be inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I'm like, in that regard, in that vein, it's definitely time for him to retire then, because most of the time they're putting in old farts that are way past wrestling in anybody's ring. So
yeah, but now we're in the age now. Rey Mysterio has been in the Hall of Fame for 2 years.
Yeah. And he's the second one. He's the second active wrestler that's been put into the WWE Hall of Fame.
Interesting.
Oh.
Well, so I really thought this match was balls out, just awesome. And I agree with you on the idea that Triple H would have been a good matchup for him, but I think whenever you talk about the styles, Shawn is just way more athletic than Triple H is. Triple H tells a great story, but his style and Ric Flair style are very similar. Shawn is a different style. Shawn is a heavyweight who moves like a light heavyweight. Shout out to Taka Michinoku and all you guys who used to have the light heavyweight title. Brian Christopher.
Rest in peace.
They were built different for that style. So I really enjoyed it, man. This was a good call, man. I appreciate you picking this one. It was good we missed George on this one, but we're gonna wrap it up. We're gonna finish it out, and we're a week away from WrestleMania, so we gonna end it here, and we will see y'all next weekend. Hey, y'all go check out a Ducking Wrestling podcast on TikTok, on YouTube. We are gonna go live on TikTok a little bit more often. I did it tonight for the first time, and it was actually pretty fun. And we're gonna do that next Saturday. We're gonna have everybody here at my house to watch the pinnacle of pro wrestling. I don't care if you're an AEW fan, an old WCW fan. I don't care. WrestleMania is still the tits whenever it comes to pro wrestling. We will see y'all next weekend. Love y'all. Lathan, love you, man. Can't wait to see you next weekend, brother. Hey,
for sure.
Y'all, holla at your boy.